Oh, the hypocrisy on this Steelers Quickie edition of Mic Drop here on Pittsburgh Sports Live, coming at you from the Beaver County Auto Studios up above Market Square here in downtown Pittsburgh. I am your host, Mike Asti, and I'm here to tell you why Steeler fans have absolutely no room, have no moral high ground to criticize the Browns for signing Kareem Hunt. And if you don't know, well, if you don't know, now you know. The Cleveland Browns have signed tainted running back, I guess I'll use that phrase, Kareem Hunt, who was exposed for domestic violence this past NFL season, was then dropped and dumped and broken up with and released and kicked to the curb by the Kansas City Chiefs, who went on to a playoff run without him. And during this investigation, he's still looking for a team, obviously available to sign with any team. And the Cleveland Browns took a flyer on him, a one-year deal. He'll be a restricted free agent next season, so they'll have his control and just add him to the many pieces they have, as the Cleveland Browns have some weaponry. There it is. We've signed running back Kareem Hunt, and the details, you can read that on your own. Kareem Hunt also gave a little manifesto and an apology letter to his fans, to the NFL, once again apologizing for domestic violence, which got him off the Kansas City Chiefs, but now a member of the Cleveland Browns, thanking the Browns ownership group and looking for a second chance in the National Football League. So, of course, you know, same old song, same old song. I mean, I'm not going to feel bad for the guy. He does deserve a second chance. He paid his due, served his punishment. He's not getting off scot-free with this. And at least, unlike some others throughout the years with different issues in their careers, and even off of this topic, he's admitting his wrongdoing and trying to move on. So he's not going to try to lie to anybody. He's not going to try to pussyfoot around this. He's going to admit his wrongdoing, apologize, and move on. So he gets a second chance, the way the NFL is. And if they want to go harder on domestic violence, they could. But we live in a National Football League. We live in a world where if you're productive on the field, if you have talent on the field that a team thinks they can get something from you on the field and you can help them on the field, they'll take a chance on you. And I'll do shows on this later because this will eventually segue into Antonio Brown's positioning with either the Steelers or another team in terms of still looking for a trade. The Steelers still looking, in my estimation, to get rid of him and move on from him, fed up with his crap. But now the recent domestic violence issues are connected with him as well. Now, Kareem Hunt's a little different than some other stories in terms of it's similar to Ray Rice, at least on perception now. We've seen this from a video. We know he has done this. Regardless of legality or the punishment he served in the NFL, whether or not you think that's strict enough or not, and whether or not you think he deserves a second chance or not, he has one. But we know he was guilty of domestic violence. And again, he's actually admitting that. So he has a second chance with the Cleveland Browns. But separate from all of you who are saying he shouldn't get that second chance, the NFL should come down harder on domestic violence. And I hear where you're coming from. I do feel that. However, if you have the talent, you're going to get a second chance, like it or not. So I'm not really going to go after that here on this show. What I'm going to do, though, is the second end of that. And it's here in my market of Pittsburgh and Steeler fans that predominantly watch these shows and hit us up on Pittsburgh Sports Live, that you guys are getting involved here as you always do. And Steeler fans, throw you there, click subscribe on the Pittsburgh Sports Live on YouTube. Steeler fans are actually criticizing the Browns for this signing. Steeler fans are acting as if the Browns shouldn't have signed Kareem Hunt because of his domestic violence issues, even though they're recognizing that unlike Ray Rice, who was kind of washed up at that point, Kareem Hunt's still in his prime, still an elite running back, still a fantasy gem just a season plus ago prior to these allegations, and was the feature back on the Chiefs team that was one of the best offenses in the league even prior to his exodus, that this is disgusting, and how could the Browns do this? And they just want to win at all costs, and the Browns haven't won in so long, and they're a franchise of mediocrity, that they have a little success with Baker Mayfield, a sensational young quarterback, after a prior year of going winless. They almost get in the playoffs. They play tough with the Steelers, tie the Steelers one game, which weirdly was before Baker, and they have hope for the future, and they're making moves, and it looks like they might be among the favorites of the AFC North. And really, an argument, they right now are the favorite because of all the question marks around the Steelers and even Ravens as well, and of course the Bengals in disarray. But they shouldn't do this, and Steeler fans are coming down and questioning this decision. Well, guys, as these tweets I'll get to in a second will dictate, because they're going to corroborate with what I've been saying and what I'm going to say here, and colleagues of mine here, whether Pittsburgh Sports Live or just in general in media and around this area and in tap with this area, that Steeler fans have no room for this. And here's a headline that tells you why. Steeler fans are criticizing the Cleveland Browns franchise, so a rival franchise, for signing a guy with domestic violence on his resume. We all agreed that Kareem Hunt committed domestic violence, and that's disgusting, that's wrong, it's just ridiculous. There's no excuse for it, no matter what's going on in your life, no matter how mad you are, no excuse for any man to put his hands on a woman. And I've been frustrated with ex-girlfriends in the past, but never once would I lay a hand on them because, again, it's just wrong to commit domestic violence, especially as a man against a woman. And especially, again, as a professional athlete against the woman with the strength of his body and physicality difference there. So he committed that, and that's wrong. And whether you want to give him a second chance is immaterial for this purpose, because Steelers fans are criticizing the Cleveland Browns with a moral high ground to them, saying the Browns are disgusting. They shouldn't do this. They got to resort to things like this to finally turn the corner because they're desperate. And mind you, the Browns are desperate to finally win. They're 2 seasons removed from going 0-16. And while they had success with Baker Mayfield, they want to turn that actually into a postseason year, which they did not actually get to accomplish a season ago, but they were close. But this headline here is why Steelers fans have no room for this. Steelers fans have no room to have a moral high ground on domestic violence. Steelers fans have no room to have a moral high ground really at all. And Steelers fans, like it or not, have no room to criticize the Browns or any team for signing somebody who has committed domestic violence. And here's why. Check this headline. Remember it? This is back on ESPN.com in May of 2008. So we're looking at over a decade now. What's this headline? Read it with me here. Steelers Harrison faces charges after allegedly assaulting girlfriend. And if you read there further, because I gave you a little paragraph or so on the screenshot, James Harrison was accused of committing domestic violence. And again, he didn't sit in jail. It didn't give you a video like Kareem Hunt. It didn't go to the veracity of Ray Rice, who served a minuscule punishment on guilty until proven innocent. Then we found out he really was guilty off of a video coming out and borderline double jeopardy, but getting punished again there. And his career was kind of over on the field, so he was ushered out of the National Football League. But those two actually have admitted they're wrong. Ray Rice has apologized, gone to counseling, has ended up marrying the woman. And Kareem Hunt has clearly admitted his wrongdoing and apologized time and time again. Again, it's wrong to commit domestic violence, no excuses there, but these guys have admitted it and moved on. And one got a second chance because he's still good on the field. The other guy did not because he's not really good on the field anymore or wasn't at that point. That's really how this slices out usually, whether it be domestic violence or any other controversial issue, drama, anything. If the player is productive on the field, the talent will always triumph over anything else. If there's talent there and they think they can get something out of that player, they'll try. But remember that headline? Because many of you Steelers fans like to forget it, and you even like to forget it at the time. And I'll go here. I got a press pass. I'm at the facility. I got friends working with the team, and besides Antonio Brown blocking me on Twitter, I have a good relationship with covering the Pittsburgh Steelers here in the area, and as my part in media. But I'm not going to lie here. The Rooney family danced around the issue. The Rooney family made excuses for James Harrison back in the day. The Rooney family just gave every excuse in the book for James Harrison defending their guy. So the fans maybe are getting that from the top down, from Rooney all the way down. And the Rooney family, one of the classiest ownership groups in the history of the sport, but from the top on down, they make excuses for James Harrison, and Steelers fans to this day wear the James Harrison jersey. They defended James Harrison for years during the domestic violence scandal where he was accused. And they only really started hating James Harrison because I have to use this in past tense because some of you may defend that or did defend in the past, but now hate him because he played for the New England Patriots and appeared in a Super Bowl with the Patriots. Because he wanted to have more playing time, and I defended him there a year ago in another network on my show there. That he wanted more playing time. He felt like he was lied to, and yes, it sucks he went to a rival, but he had every right to go there. So that's a whole story for another day, but that's why many of you hate James Harrison now. But prior to that, if he never played for the Patriots, say that never happened, you all would be defending James Harrison. You'd be loving James Harrison. He'd be coming back. He's a Steeler great, probably going to go in some type of Ring of Honor, some type of museum someday at Heinz Field. He's a borderline Hall of Fame candidate, and if he ever gets there in Canton, he'll be known as a Steeler there. And Steeler fans will go and celebrate. They wear his jersey. You still see 92s all around the city of Pittsburgh. And now that it's been a year or so since the Patriot era and the Patriot reign there for Harrison, that now he's more, he's a little bit more welcome back. He's been to some events at Heinz Field throughout this past season. He speaks out publicly about the team, not always positive, but the fans have kind of wrapped their arms back around James Harrison. So Pittsburgh Steelers fans, any of you that are going to defend James Harrison, any of you that wear James Harrison's jersey, any of you that love you some James Harrison, you're hypocrites if you're going to criticize the Browns for Kareem Hunt. If you were or still are throwing Ray Rice at the Baltimore Ravens and at their fan base because of his domestic violence issue. And again, as much as I am a guy that hates guilty until proven innocent, and we maybe have a video with one and not the other, but our society as a whole is either wanting this or acting in a guilty until proven innocent mentality. Many of you are the same people that act guilty until proven innocent in your mentality for anything that's accused, whether it be misconduct, whether it be a sexual assault, whether it be domestic violence. And they all are horrible things and should absolutely be investigated and taken seriously. But if you're going to act guilty until proven innocent with all of those things, then that includes one of your own. That includes James Harrison. That includes Ben Roethlisberger, any other player on the Steelers throughout its history that is marred with scandal. And Ben, I've defended he's an absolute Hall of Famer that you're going to miss when he retires, but there was multiple rape accusations and scandals. He didn't sit in jail for those, I get it, but he absolutely acted like a douchebag, if nothing else, and there might have been some misconduct there. But here it is. Jim Loke, formerly of KDK and CBS Pittsburgh, here locally in Pittsburgh, now in D.C. at Fox 5 in D.C. This is his personal account here. I know him personally here in Pittsburgh. Had him on my show at the Trib, which is the past network that I had a show with. For any of you who did not know. Again, if you don't know, now you know. Ran Trib Live Radio for about 3 years here in the area. But Jim Loke says it best. And this is a tweet, by the way, as you see it there from December 2017, but it's certainly applicable right now. It certainly makes sense here today. James Harrison abused his girlfriend. He admitted to it. He wasn't charged, but the facts remain. Any man who raises a hand to a woman isn't a real man, regardless of the jersey they wear. And that's true. That says it all. It doesn't matter that James Harrison was a Steeler and at that time when he allegedly committed domestic violence and then later admitted to it, that he was a member of a Steeler team that had won a championship, that he was a member of a Steeler team that was one of the best defenses of the era, that he was a great Steeler player during that time period, that he was a fun-loving guy in terms of social media with all the weightlifting and the deadlifts and just fans being in awe of him and how tough he was, and he fit that Steeler mode with the snarl. And he really was a quintessential Steeler, almost a 70s player, a steel curtain type of player on that defense here during the Bill Cowher to the Mike Tomlin era, a part of both of those reigns. So many Steelers fans loved him for that. And then, of course, the 93-yarder, the interception return in the Super Bowl against Kurt Warner and the Arizona Cardinals, and one of the greatest plays in Steeler history and will be iconic whether you love or hate James Harrison with the Steelers in the National Football League. And they play it every year around Super Bowl season. But if you're going to defend James Harrison, then you can't criticize the Browns for Kareem Hunt. You can't throw Ray Rice at the Baltimore Ravens. You can't criticize anybody for domestic violence if you're going to defend James Harrison. And it's okay, Steeler fans, to love the team, support the team, and root for the team, but to admit that James Harrison was wrong. James Harrison shouldn't have committed domestic violence, and also to admit that your owner, who has passed away, and now your current owner, the whole family all grouping together, were wrong for what they said about James Harrison at the time. They shouldn't have defended James Harrison. They should have been stricter on it. They shouldn't have put up with it. Or at least they're the same as everybody else. Talent is more important to them on what you do on the field than any type of moral high ground. But if you're going to bring up a moral high ground against the Browns, against the Ravens, against whoever else, then that can't work if you're a hypocrite. If you're going to defend James Harrison, if you're going to wear James Harrison's jersey, the 92, around the city of Pittsburgh or around the country, Steeler Nation certainly is spread out. Many of you maybe just aren't in Pittsburgh watching these videos here with Pittsburgh Sports Live. But it's just hypocritical. You can't attack the Browns for signing Kareem Hunt, which is a questionable move, controversial move, but it'll help the team on the field, I would assume. Maybe heard some maturation process of Chubb and a few others, but Kareem Hunt's good. He's been good recently, been productive recently on the field, and he'll get a crack, even if the Browns don't want him any longer after a while. He'll get a crack from somebody else when you're still that young and can hack it and can carry the rock on the field, unlike, say, Ray Rice, who was older when his scandal erupted. But no excuse for Kareem Hunt to commit domestic violence. No excuse for Ray Rice to commit domestic violence. No excuse for James Harrison to commit domestic violence. Because there it is again, 2008. These headlines exist. They don't go away on the internet. Unless you delete them, but this is still real regardless. Here, Steelers Harrison faces charges after allegedly assaulting girlfriend. And Jim Loke said it best. Harrison abused his girlfriend. He admitted to it. Maybe he moved on and became a better guy too, but if you defended him then, and you rode with him then, and you loved him then, and you wear your jersey now of James Harrison, not saying you shouldn't, because maybe he deserves a second chance, and he was a great player for you. I get it. But that then disqualifies you from criticizing the Browns, criticizing the Ravens, and using domestic violence or any moral high ground against anybody else. And this also brings this up. I'm going to use a tweet here from within our family, within the Pittsburgh Sports Now family, Pittsburgh Sports Live family. Alan Saunders, a colleague of mine here. Look at this. Immediately upon the Kareem Hunt news, he was already getting tweets, already seeing Steelers fans going at it. If you just search Steelers and Kareem Hunt, you get Steelers fans talking smack, saying, I can't believe the Browns did this, forgetting and not bringing up anything with James Harrison or Ben or whoever else. Can't wait to see Steelers fans on their high horse about Browns signing Hunt while wearing Harrison jerseys. I said it. You're going to wear your James Harrison jersey around Pittsburgh. You can't criticize anybody else for bringing in a domestic violence player. He maybe didn't serve punishment in terms of the jail system. He wasn't legally put in prison. He wasn't punished by the National Football League, but he's admitted it. We know it happened. So it's at least about your moral high ground. And I'm an innocent until proven guilty guy. I've always been. I want to do an investigation. I want to have something there before I punish. I don't want to just punish out of nowhere and then go forth. I'm innocent until proven guilty, as things should be. But many of you are guilty until proven innocent. That's how things are now. So if you're going to be that for everybody else, then you got to be that for your guy. And that your guy works with your sports team, works with somebody in your political party. We saw this even politically not long ago. I mean, I'm not going to give away any of my political beliefs here. That's not what I'm, paid to do here. I am #sticking to sports for Pittsburgh Sports Live, my role in Pittsburgh media, whether it be here or on the Fan or wherever else, even past with the Trib. But there were times where, many Democrats in Congress, many liberals in Congress, many liberals out there in the world would just swarm in and immediately guilty until proven innocent on any conservative that was accused of anything. The Brett Kavanaughs of the world, and again, not defending any of them, not getting into that really here. But then Al Franken not long ago, we wanted to wait and see the evidence. We wanted to we got to do innocent until proven guilty with Al Franken. It doesn't work, guys. You can't be hypocrites about this. It doesn't work. Doesn't work. You can't wait and see for Al Franken, but immediately go guilty until proven innocent, immediately resign, immediately set him on fire for any Republican. Doesn't work. Can't do that. That's hypocritical. That's not being consistent. So again, it works the same with Steeler fans. You can't attack the Browns for Kareem Hunt, for the Kareem Hunt signing, attack the Ravens and still throw at Ray Rice at them. And yet you wear your James Harrison jersey, you defend James Harrison, and you forget about James Harrison admitting domestic violence. That's hypocritical. That's ridiculous. That's asinine when it happens, and it's going on too much here from this fan base. Want to remind you guys to click subscribe. Click subscribe there, Pittsburgh Sports Live in YouTube. When you go there, you don't have to worry about any promotion from us. Immediately gives you notification and get this content to you. And it's not just my shows if you hate me. Alan covering Pitt, Dan Kongursky covering the Penguins, everything that's done at Pittsburgh Sports Now. Everything that's done Pittsburgh Hockey Now, everything that's done Pittsburgh Soccer Now, and the outlet that I'm helping to run here, the new fled SteelersNow.com. Within the Pittsburgh Sports Now family. Any of that content, click subscribe right there. Makes it easiest for us to get to you, our golden quality content to you, the people. And go to those websites, PittsburghSportsNow.com, PittsburghHockeyNow.com, Pittsburgh Soccer Now, and SteelersNow.com. You can also find this, any of our Pittsburgh Sports Live content, our Radio Gold, our video quality gold, living in all eternity or until I take it off. PGHSportsLive.com there for the website of the Pittsburgh Sports Live venture. And even we're now on Podbean. So just search Pittsburgh Sports Live, PGH Sports Live, any of those tags on Podbean. I got a couple of my shows there, a couple of the Pitt shows from Mike Vakovican. Dan has a couple of his hockey live pen chats that always do well and are always entertaining in their own right for the fan base to go at them live. All there on Podbean. So go to Podbean, search Pittsburgh Sports Live or PGH Sports Live. Going to get this and many of the others up there as well. Not going to put every single thing we do at Pittsburgh Sports Live there, unlike the website, PGHSportsLive.com, and unlike here at Pittsburgh Sports Live on YouTube, on the YouTube channel. But a decent amount of those shows, more on the go without having to watch. You can just hear the Radio Gold over at Podbean. So don't be hypocrites, guys. Just think about things before you react. It's disgusting to commit domestic violence. It's disgusting to commit sexual assault. It's disgusting for everything, any of these. It's all horrible. None of these things are wrong. None of these things should occur. But when they do, and when they're either admitted by somebody, when there's proof of it, you can't criticize somebody else. If you can't, until your closet's clean, you can't go try to clean someone else's. Where Steeler fans, you can't criticize the Browns for a moral high ground they shouldn't have signed Kareem Hunt or throw Ray Rice to the Baltimore Ravens when you wear your James Harrison jersey, when you defended James Harrison for years. Because James Harrison has admitted domestic violence, and James Harrison is guilty of the same thing that many of those rival teams, in many of their players were guilty of, and many of those fans cheered for. So, again, don't be a hypocrite. This has been another Radio Gold edition here of Mic Drop on Pittsburgh Sports Live and brought to you by SteelersNow.com. Coming at you from the Beaver County Auto Studios up above Market Square here in downtown Pittsburgh. I'm your host, Mike Asti, conquering sports radio and telling you guys when not to be hypocrites and bringing you the truth when you need it. I keep it real here as often as I can, one day at a time.